I gotta say it, your nervous system is your business plan, okay? Having a regulated nervous system in 2025, especially as an entrepreneur, is going to set you up for success now and into the future. What do I mean by this? The business strategy. You don't need to do any more brainstorming or come back to the drawing board. You need to feel safe. So having a regulated nervous system is super important in today's world because of the whole entire landscape of the country, and especially if you guys are living in America, I don't know. And even if you aren't living in America, it's been wild. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. And so one of the main things that I'll really focus in on this channel is mindset and also entrepreneurship. So if you guys are entrepreneurs, definitely tap in, watch me on my journey as we grow businesses, do make money moves for ourselves, and really hopefully head in the right direction as a planet. The theme for 2025 for this video is like really telling you guys like healing is necessary, whether it be from like past things, past traumas and things like that. If you guys don't know that 72% of entrepreneurs report feelings of, loneliness, of, things like anxiety, of course. And with that, it's like, of course, you feel those things because being an entrepreneur is literally riding the wave of uncertainty, and also being in today's day and age of having such a abundance of uncertainty. It's like, what is next for entrepreneurs? Those uncertainties that we have also lies amazing opportunities. Focus so much and so heavily on hustle culture, hustle, 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 but no one talks about rest culture. When is that going to come up where you just, rest and also allow yourself to rejuvenate or to actually get fulfilling rest as opposed to just, pausing on Saturday or Sunday, and then going right back into what you were doing before. Technically, that's not rest. European countries would definitely agree with me on that because they take so much rest, it feels like, compared to, America and, other countries who even work harder in America, like Japan. Those countries and us, we have like this super, super dominant culture of just like go, go, go. And it's great for, definitely keeping up with the cost of living, and also just with needing to what it takes to have, family, and also just to support yourself as a person, especially if you're a young entrepreneur nowadays. But emotional and nervous system regulation as an entrepreneur is super duper important, just because of the fact that the people who are, having higher emotional IQs nowadays are going to be the ones who are going to be the business owners of the future. And I would like for all of us on this video watching to also be entrepreneurs of the future who are setting people up, setting businesses, making businesses, and creating products that are setting not only yourself up for success, but the people who use them and utilize your goods and your services. Experience as a e-commerce person who started off as drop shipping, then got into, working with her own knitwear and fashion. Well, I first started getting into knitwear and fashion, of course. Then I started drop shipping, clothes from China to America and Europe, and to people who really wanted them. I've always had a creative background, and now I am a brand strategist, and I have my own wellness brand that I am, documenting me building from the ground up. So definitely check into that, you guys. And one of the things that I've definitely understood and had to understand in the past year of dealing with things like burnout, having to fire my first poor employee, who really did a number on my business. I can make a whole video, I think I have. But definitely understanding that emotional regulation and nervous system regulation is going to be the difference. And now I'm not saying that it's not okay to feel your feelings, but also understanding that it is okay to delegate. It's okay to have a support system, and it's okay to, what we call failure is definitely needed in order to be successful. You don't need another strategy in order to keep things going because you are your own strategist and as an entrepreneur. I would say one of the main things as entrepreneurs that they definitely get wrong, especially if you're just starting out, is that they feel a need to have everything figured out, and they think that the business plan is going to go exactly how it's going to go. The truth is, Your business plan, if you are not updating it, every year, every 6 months, every 3 months for some businesses, depending on how much, you're growing and changing. If you have a TikTok business, your business plan should have changed. Now it's going to change back and then it's going to change again. Definitely understanding that there's always a need to be proactive. And proactivity, although, our perspectives as humans change over time, especially with the information that we have, allowing yourself to do your research, of course, whatever industry that you're in, and really getting yourself to a point where so you're saying, I feel comfortable making the moves that I'm making. And also understanding that entrepreneurs who are suffering from, this hustle culture mentality that we have, it is, almost to our detriment in a time, especially if you are a solo entrepreneur, or if you accidentally pick in like a really bad co-founder. That is like one of the most harshest like positions to be in if you've experienced like, hey, um, not the best working experience so far. It can be super difficult and challenging for people to, get out of that box. But the only way that you can get out of that situation as an entrepreneur is that understanding the value that you have, understanding the things that you are naturally good at and naturally talented with and at, and having a clear understanding of that in your mission statement, not only for your business but for yourself. And one of the things that's really taken me to make this video is the fact that I've just been like on this like reading kick of reading several different books about entrepreneurship, of mindset in entrepreneurship, and how to grow businesses successfully, along with growing your own mindset successfully. So I'm definitely probably going to come out with a few book recommendations. One of the first books was this one, which I'll probably link here. It is amazing for habit building. You guys, having good habits is probably one of the biggest parts of, whether it be you're a businesswoman working in a corporate office, you work a 9 to 5, you are an entrepreneur, building a digital product, whatever it is for yourself, you need to understand that the habits that you do each day add up over time. Even the ones that feel super small, like making yourself a cup of tea and sitting by the window. That is one of the best ways of building habits, and your habits ultimately are going to, but definitely pile up like pancakes over time. So, crepes, pancakes, whatever you want it to be, it's definitely going to pile up, and it'll pile up very high from you doing the same good, constant actions each and every single day. And so one of the things I really want to focus on in this video is talking about good habits versus bad habits. And that's the second part of this video, is like the good habits that we form, whether it be from when we're young, the good habits that we form when we're in adolescence and teenage years, and the good habits that we are able to form as adults. So one of the good habits from this book that I was reading was having a good morning routine. Most entrepreneurs that you see, especially if he's like this like TikTok that is out right now about this guy who like drinks Saratogas and then he eats bananas and he dunks his face in ice water. Things like that. It does not have to be you waking up at 3 a.m. just to, start your day. That is unsustainable. No one's really doing that each day. Okay, if they are, somebody lying or something wrong. Anyways, understanding that you as an entrepreneur can develop those habits for yourself that actually are real and tangible and you can repeat each day. Like sitting at a window with, tea, hydrating yourself each morning, whether it be going for walks during the day for 5 minutes, breathing, because nobody knows how to breathe nowadays. It's real. Those habits really do pile up over time, as opposed to bad habits like negative thinking. Negative thinking is probably one of the biggest bad habits. I was listening to this girl who came up to me one day in the park in New York City, and we were talking about what people's thinking habits are like. What are your habits? Who the person you hate the most? And a lot of people are super self-critical, myself included. It's just almost like human nature, and it definitely affects people who are more self-conscious and self-aware, and who are usually empathetic or compassionate people, a lot because of the fact that they have those traits, and all you can see is like kind of like yourself, your shortcomings, whatever. So having the habit of thinking good, positive, uplifting thoughts is one of the biggest things that can really help you. And if you're really struggling with that habit, building it for just 30 seconds, then you start to a minute, just like thinking really good thoughts about yourself. And over time, thoughts, if you are struggling, I always meet people who are like, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so this, that. It's like, even saying it out loud now, it kind of makes me cringe because of the fact that, I've been there. And one of the third habits that is so important, especially in today's world, is to rest. Having a good rest schedule and having, good sleeping schedules too are some of the most important things that can help you set up for success in and around your journey as an entrepreneur or someone who is striving to or a different lifestyle. Rest is so important for your journey, for your brain, for everything as itself. When I talk about rest, people are like, oh my god, go to sleep? Like, sleep is a form of rest, but rest can also look like going for a walk, turning your phone off for a little bit, unplugging for a while. One of the habits that I personally formed is doing things like dopamine detoxes, or which is also a digital detox, especially in today's world where we're in like this huge like dopaminergic, Pepsi Cola, drink, high dopamine driven foods like fast food. Everything is like literally being thrown at us, dopamine. Even from the moment that you wake up and you start scrolling on your phone, whenever you start scrolling, you're going to feel those dopamines. So having time to detox yourself. I'm such a herbalist, y'all see me. But detoxing yourself, whether it be your body, you also have to detox your digital aspects of yourself. So kind of like hitting it from not even all angles, like you're just needing time to like rest and recuperate from, especially as content creators, of just taking time for yourself is super important. What else? Rest also looks like, maybe if you can afford it, going and getting massages. If you can't afford getting massages, yes you can, because they got massage chairs in the mall. Okay, you can pay someone to also get massage in the mall. So that's one thing. And if you don't have a mall near you, they have heating blankets, they have weighted blankets. You have so many ways that you can just take care of yourself and really tap into your feminine side almost too, where it's like you're just like resting. Even for my fellows watching this, there's nothing wrong with your feminine side. Tapping in and resting is not a feminine aspect only, it's a human one. And making sure that you get yourself rested, recuperated, no eye bags, feeling good about yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, there are times when you're gonna feel crusty, you're gonna feel like uncrustable. But understanding that uncrustable state can last but as long as you allow it to, and allowing yourself to really get uncrusty. The fourth tip of being an entrepreneur who is unlearning a lot of those traits of hustle culture is that the main tip is getting your nervous system in relaxation. So all of the tips that I've shared so far is about getting your nervous system regulated. We can also like tap into herbs, you guys. Herbal teas like ashwagandha and what else? Ashwagandha is a great one. Sastringa berry, ginseng are really good for like things like stress, mental agility, things like that. So having yourself, and whether it be like high vibrational herbal teas that you can drink, there's so many ways of getting yourself regulated. Acupuncture is also a great one. I've actually tried that personally, not with like the needles. So if you are afraid of needles, there is acupuncture now that they have without needles called like ear seeding. It is a form of like a seed. It's like a tiny little ball that goes into like your ears or wherever you decide to place it on your body. And it really does work for helping you with things like stress or like different parts of the body that is like maybe like a sluggish liver, or like you got kidney issues. Having like ear seeding is super important. Acupuncture, I really recommend it for like dealing with things like stress and also recuperating yourself from things like just like in general, honestly. So tying good rituals and routines into your entrepreneurship journey of doing and getting things better. And that leads me to my next point of like exercise, okay? Exercise is super important. It actually takes out a lot of toxins in the body that people don't really realize. Why do you think the girls go for hot walks? The girlies, they go for hot walks. They go for hot yoga. They go for Pilates. And if you're not a girl's girl, you know, you get on that treadmill. You could go for that hot run. There's so many ways, or even just sauning, steaming. These are all ways of getting rid of toxins and detoxifying things from the body, like stress, like being in survival mode, and also making sure that you don't overdo it. So it's like everything in itself has a sense of balance. So make sure you guys are taking into account your nervous system while being an entrepreneur, understanding that you're only human in your journey. Understand that you're only human in your journey, and that productivity is a part of that journey, but so is rest, and so is your well-being as a whole. And I really wouldn't be a wellness girly if I didn't really preach to that. So make sure that you guys are like taking care of yourself, and I'll hopefully take my own advice. Bye guys.